And now,
it's 10 a.m.
Let's just get down to it.
And it's time for your sports fix.
Strap yourselves in, folks.
From two guys who have covered the teams you're passionate about for years.
We are professionals.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Excuse me, Ben.
What are you doing?
Kiss the sky.
Oh, that's right.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. I am wearing my tie-dye today, so
Okay.
I'm glad Christian had a kind of a cosmic entrance. That made makes a lot of sense.
It's funny because we can't put the music beds on the podcast episodes. So anybody that strictly listens to the podcast feed, when you guys reference the
Music?
the beds, they have no idea what you're talking about.
How does that work? You guys edit it out? You just start like now?
So basically, when the music starts, I click the button to take it out of the audition feed.
Okay.
Ben didn't go far as a producer.
The technology is a little different.
He didn't spend much time doing the produce. No, the technology's not different. That's been a thing for a long time.
Well, the podcasting is relatively new in the last 10 years, and especially the ability to crack down on music being played in the podcast, right?
Right, but you can, like, when you record something through the board, you can take that
Out of production or out of what?
out of what you record,
Okay.
which is a thing.
Yeah.
I have not been on the Snap Talk or whatever to see if this is true, but was Pat McAfee at the Utah Hockey Club? Was Armpit
Oh, I didn't see it.
at the Utah Hockey Club
I watched
game yesterday?
most of the game because it, started late in the Jazz game and switched over. I did not see that, but I wouldn't say no. It's possible.
Because my buddy is pretty convinced he saw him sitting in front of him at the Utah Hockey Club. Several of my friends went to the game last night.
Knowing you, I have a hard time imagining any of your friends have enough money to sit close to Pat McAfee.
I went. He wasn't there at the time, but I went down and visited their seats. They
Okay.
were like,
Yeah.
row 25.
I mean, the joke
think.
is every ticket is $85 at the absolute least right now for Utah Hockey Club. It's hard to get in.
No, their seats weren't bad. Let's see here.
I don't think Pat McAfee goes anywhere without being seen or telling people that he's there.
But my buddy Brandon says Pat McAfee sitting in front of us, and then sent me this picture.
Look at the armpit under that guy. That guy's armpits aren't anywhere close to good enough to be Pat McAfee.
All right. So not.
It's like when I thought I saw Steven Spielberg at Soup Kitchen in Sugar House. It was not him.
So confirmed then. Not.
I don't think that was him.
Not Pat
that
McAfee.
was a man who's
Okay.
never worn SPF in his life with, sun blistered shoulders and a cowboy hat.
Sunburnt in March already?
But
Permanent.
Permaburn. But was in a tank top.
But did have a tank on.
But did have a tank
Black
on
tank and a cowboy hat.
and a cowboy hat.
Inspired by
I'm
Pat
sure
McAfee.
inspired by Armpit, but not Armpit himself. Okay, confirmed. Just double checking. But I did follow up with the question, don't you think he's cold?
It's a cold arena.
Yeah, wouldn't it? I mean, as a guy who spends a lot of time in that arena, you can tell when it's a basketball night or a hockey night based on the temperature inside the building.
Yeah, which I'm glad they fixed because early on it was just all cold, and they have since solved that.
Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah, but like yesterday, I threw on my jacket when I walked out onto the concourse to go get dinner or whatever. I have no idea how that guy was sitting there in a tank top.
Yeah.
At a hockey game. I mean, he must just run hot, I guess.
He had a little natural insulation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which I've heard is a thing.
Is that a thing?
I have heard that. Christian, how big were you at your heaviest?
Pushing 200 probably.
Okay. Do you think you were warmer than you are now? Because what are you,
I'm
160?
I'm like 160 right now.
Yeah.
I run pretty warm.
Okay, I'm always cold.
I always do.
I'm always cold.
Scotty said that since he lost weight,
Yeah.
that he now runs really cold.
Oh, former football players. Anyone who loses weight, it's like, has it always been this cold? It's like, yeah.
Yeah, it
Correct.
has. All right. Well, so he's a guy who runs hot. I wonder if Armpit himself, when he comes to the next Utah Hockey Club game, because he's come, right?
I know he celebrated one of them. He certainly sat courtside at Jazz games, but has he made it to a hockey club game yet? I don't know. I don't think he has.
All right. Well, it's probably inevitable. I wonder if he's going to be wearing the tank.
Okay. He'll probably have a jersey on because Ryan's going to want to get him geared out.
We'll get him
Just rip the sleeves off of a Sergachev jersey?
No, get him a Utah Hockey Club tank. It couldn't be that hard.
Yeah, if anyone can do it, I think Ryan could probably do it.
Yeah.
He owns the rights.
Yeah, just slap a logo on that tank.
Maybe you wait until they have a team name. And then you bring him out, and then he's like the face.
Oh, make the tank part of the launch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The McAfee tank.
The Utah Armpits.
Yeah, the pits.
The Pits. Oh, I feel a new song coming. we could come up with a really good theme song for a hockey team called the Armpits.
Yeah.
Imagine
Do it.
Imagine the mascot possibilities.
Do it. I'm excited to see it.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see if we can get the band back together.
Sure.
And come up with a
Sure.
good
People are busy this
anthem
time of year.
for the Utah Armpits. I guess, the name hasn't been officially announced, so we could do a closing campaign. I don't know.
I legitimately think they don't know what the name is.
is
I
the
could be
vote still
wrong.
out?
I mean, I had heard forever, like everyone, it was going to be Yeti, and I think that was the plan, and then it fell apart quickly, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, didn't the
Cooler brand.
The Cooler brand. I have a Yeti cup right here.
Yeah,
I probably shouldn't take this into the arena anymore.
I wouldn't.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That gets some dirty looks.
So I don't know if they know what they're doing. I mean, I
think
know
it has
they
to
know
be
what
figured
they're
out
doing
pretty soon.
but yeah, I don't know what it is. Yeah, they're got to make jerseys. They got to make a whole lineup unless they just go with the Utah Hockey Club and everything stays the same. Plus,
Which I honestly wouldn't hate.
they add a Yeti as the mascot.
I do really like the color scheme.
So do I. It looks great.
I really like. I mean,
Christian's got his Utah Hockey Club gear on right now.
walking around the arena yesterday, I mean, it looks cool.
And
Like
it stands out in the NHL.
It does.
In a good way.
They
Yeah.
did a really good job with that.
There are some horrible color schemes, a la the Ducks that we saw last night have a truly horrendous color scheme.
A la the Coyotes.
Oh, I like the Coyotes' Southwestern look, but I do like the blue and white a lot. I like the Coyote mascot, the Southwestern style was very cool.
Could we keep the color scheme if we went with the armpits?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, there's not very many blue armpits.
No, but it's like you just put on like cooling deodorant or something. You know, it's like a fresh pit. If it was
Like the
green, you'd be like
gel.
a rotten pit.
The
yeah,
gel deodorants
yeah,
are
yeah,
blue.
right. Correct. The Glide.
And all this armpit talk this early.
Yeah.
Must be Thursday. They're really missing an opportunity. They should put the Blue Man Group on skates
No, that's a good idea.
and
Just paint the whole building.
No.
Just spray paint everywhere, all over everybody. Everybody.
I think they're stopping their run in Vegas, or maybe it was in New York or something like that. Have you seen the Blue Man Group?
I am not.
Seen them multiple
I bet,
times.
yeah.
Hilarious. Christian,
Never. I always wanted to. They seem pretty cool.
you are aware of their existence, though.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, Ben. The Jazz got fined yesterday.
Yes, they did.
$100K. I'm very eager to hear your take on this.
Oh, you're going to be so disappointed.
Well, because I'm way through the looking glass on it. So I need your take on it.
Well, I have two. One is not nuanced at all, and one's a little bit nuanced, but very slightly. Namely, I do not care. I could not care less. I don't care when players get fined. I don't care when teams get fined. Whatever. Doesn't matter. There's no problem at all. Second thing is, if the Jazz get a top 3 pick, it's the best money they've ever spent. Who cares? It's great money. What an investment. $100,000 for a rookie who's going to come in and help you win games? Great. We'll give him 100. Teams can negotiate rookie salary. The rookie salary is slated. You can go up, I think it's 110% or 125%, or you can just give them the 100%. You can actually go below the number, I think, down to like 80%. and that might not be in the latest CBA, but for a long time you could actually negotiate these types of things. Rarely did teams not give everyone the whole 125%. Very rarely did it happen. And when they did, the players and the agents got really mad at them. But to that point, if the Jazz wanted to make up $100,000, you could find a way to make up $100,000. But one team has been very famously fined twice for tanking. It's the Dallas Mavericks. It was 2016. Mark Cuban sat down with his players and then went on a podcast and said, it's in our best interest to lose games. And I told the players it's in our best interest to lose games. And I told them to lose games. They got fined $600,000, and 2 months later they drafted Luka Doncic. Great. The guy made you a $40 million, $50 million. How much did Luka make Dallas in 7 years that he was there, 6 years, 8 years that he was there? $90 million? And then they got fined again 2 years ago because they tanked the last game of the season to hold on to their draft pick to get the number 10 overall pick instead of make the play-in tournament. They drafted Derek Lively, who was a huge piece in them going to the finals the next year. Okay, I think they got fined another $400,000 or $200,000 for that, whatever it was. So that $800,000 in fines the Dallas Mavericks had paid for openly admitting to tanking landed them Luka Doncic and then helped them get to the finals 12 months later. There's not better money you could spend in sports than what the Dallas Mavericks did in those situations. So in that sense, because it's the system, man, play the system.
Yeah, you're right. I am super disappointed. Like, yeah, Ben, yeah, they're tanking. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's what all the tanking teams are doing. It's that isn't the story. I don't care about Ryan Smith's money.
Right, neither do I,
This
yeah.
isn't going to change the Jazz, what they're doing or what they're going to do or anything to the sort. I want to know why they got fined. You just told me why Dallas got fined.
Yeah.
I want to know why the Jazz got fined. I want to know why the NBA got off its duff and fined the Jazz out of all these teams that are tanking. What was the game last night where like 17 players were being sat?
Yeah.
Was it Philly, Toronto?
I was curious about this.
Why now? Why the Jazz? I don't care about the dough. I don't care. Yes, Dallas was. Of course they were. They are one of. Well, you've told me that tanking's gone back to the ancient history of the NBA.
Yeah.
Hundreds of teams that have lost games on purpose, that have sat players, that have done this. We watched the Grizzlies at the Delta Center years ago. What coach was it that benched Marc Gasol in the second half?
Yeah.
Because he was playing too well and they were going to win. So why now? Why the Jazz? Why? And that is the story. I don't care about the fine. I don't think this is going to change the Jazz strategy. I don't think this is going to change anyone's strategy. Why is the NBA fining the Jazz, and why aren't they fining everybody else? Why didn't they fine the 76ers? We saw that squad the Sixers rolled out in Philly the other night. Why aren't they fining them? New Orleans is talking about not bringing Anthony Davis, or not New Orleans, sorry. Dallas is talking about not bringing Anthony Davis back. Well, if he's healthy and can return, why wouldn't you fine them? If the Jazz would have said, Lowry, you're out for the season. Guess what? Your back is hurt. We're announcing that you're out for the year. The Jazz wouldn't be getting fined. So that because they didn't do that, they're getting fined? Why?
So in the player participation policy, which is what the Jazz violated to get fined, it does say if you shut a guy down late in the year who's a star, and Lowry Markkanen qualifies as a star, you can get fined. So why didn't they shut him down? I think they technically still could have fallen victim to that. I am totally with you.
Because he made an all-star team 2 years ago? That is so dumb. That language is all cats. They could 1,000% fine anyone at any time.
I'm with you. I wonder if this is just the type of thing where it's a speed trap and they pull over one every 8 cars and the Jazz were just the 8th car and it was just the Jazz's turn.
I have a theory.
Okay, let's hear it.
Who did the Jazz play in that game?
It was the Wizards. Now,
and who won?
The Wizards.
Right.
So if the Jazz had won...
I think the Wizards probably complained.
Okay,
See,
that's
that
interesting.
I would buy into.
That's interesting.
My other theory is that Lowry complained. that Lowry's agent says, we want this guy.
Playing.
This guy needs to be playing, and they're sitting him for no reason. And I don't know if maybe that went to the league, but there's something that triggered it, and it's not just that they're doing it, because everybody is doing it egregiously, including last night.
Oh, Toronto. Yeah, I mean, Toronto hasn't played Brandon Ingram since they traded for him, and he was out for New Orleans. And I know he had an ankle injury, but it's like, what is this the worst ankle injury of all time? He hasn't played in 4 months.
The point that you made that I actually enjoyed was about Dallas and explaining why they got fined both times. I had actually forgotten about the Mark Cuban podcast one.
Yeah.
And then the second time, Jason Kidd talked about it after the game.
He did.
It's one of my major complaints with this whole mess, this whole tanking mess, is that you don't get fined for doing it. You get fined for talking about it. Except for, in this case, where nobody talked about anything, and the Jazz get fined out of the blue. Now, I like Christian's thought.
I think the Wizards thing is the most
But they're
likely
doing
scenario.
it too.
They are. They didn't play Jordan Poole in that game, and he doesn't qualify as a star, but they are tanking games.
That is garbage.
Yeah.
That what qualifies. I mean, that subjective label in and of itself is ridiculous. What if I define a star as, hey, your top scorer or your go-to guy, me, the great arbitrator, that is a star. Every team has to have at least one star. You know? Like, what do you qualify as a star? An all-star?
And I'll have to pull up the
You
player.
just drafted Mike Conley in our What You Got Wednesday draft. Was he a star in Memphis or not?
Right. He was their best player.
So can you rest Mike Conley, or can you keep him out of games to tank games, which I have no doubt that Memphis did at some point during his run there? Oh, he's not a star because he hasn't made an all-star? What?
Let me pull up and see if I can figure out exactly why.
That is silly. Like, oh, he's not a star, according to Ben Anderson? Well, who gets to make that decision?
Right.
And in Washington, he is a star. He's their best player.
Right. He is their best player.
So they're doing the exact same thing.
Defined as anyone selected for, sorry, my browser's jumping around here a little bit. Any player selected to All-NBA or an All-Star team in the previous 3 seasons. So that's why Lowry qualifies and some of these other guys don't.
That's silly.
I'm with you.
And,
it is
and you
silly.
know what? Why can't Lowry stand up and say, my back's really hurt?
Well, here's the thing, and this is where I think you are making an excellent point. Lowry missed his first game with his back injury this season on Halloween. Like, this has been ongoing all year, and he plays and he doesn't play, and he plays and he doesn't play. And yes, it's certainly he had missed 9 straight prior to last night. Do I think Lowry could have played if these were the playoffs? Sure. Do I think there's always a legitimate reason why guys are banged up in the NBA and don't want to play? Yeah, I do. I think guys get hurt all the time. I think guys are always playing hurt, whether they're injured, long-term, whatever. No, but I do think guys don't play hurt. And I'm not defending guys sitting. I understand fans want to see the players. I respect that. I really do. But I almost wonder, yes, if now the Wizards complained about it because they didn't want to win that game, or if this was a situation where the Jazz filed something incorrectly in an injury report of Lowry being questionable too far up and too close to the game before they ruled him out. I will do some digging. The Jazz are going to be around. So I will do some digging and try and figure out why they think it happened. Because it deserves an explanation. It does, because you're right. The Jazz are not the only team who has done this year. They're not the only team who does it every night. Teams do it every single night in the NBA.
Every night.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're covering these games. I'm not blind. So why now? I think if I'm the Jazz, if I were the Jazz, and this kind of leads me to believe that maybe it's something on the player side of things, I would have sat him last night. And my response would have been, in olden days, I would have done it to you. But my response would have been the middle finger.
Yeah.
And it would have been, find me, I don't care, I'll do what I want.
Right.
But they didn't do that. They almost apologized by playing him.
They did.
Which I think absolutely sends the signal that there was more going on, other than just capitulation because, what, you get to be the example?
Yeah.
Why do the Jazz get to be the example?
What I do think, and as far as the strategy not changing, which you said, I think you're right, the strategy doesn't change. I think the pieces change because John Collins, Walker Kessler, Colin Sexton don't qualify as star players. You might not see those guys on the road at all anymore. Why would you?
Yeah, if
the Jazz don't want to win these games and they've got road game, what do they have? 6 road games left. 7 road games left if you include Sunday. So yes, include that. The Jazz have 7 road games left. One of them against the Charlotte Hornets is winnable. I would play Lowry and 6 other healthy players. You have to have 8 healthy players and 7 other healthy players. And I would sit everybody else as the middle finger that you're talking about. You're going to ding us for not playing Lowry and John Collins plays. Walker Kessler didn't play in the game. Actually, a lot of guys sat in that
because you
game.
can find a loophole in a stupid subjective rule.
Exactly. That's the point. Is if you're going to close off one loophole, I'll open the other. And that's the thing. Like, the Jazz are a business. You set up a system, NBA, to try and get these players to, or you set up a system in the NBA to reward bad teams. And then bad teams are getting rewarded and they're finding ways to poke holes in it. It's like, yeah, that's what they're going to do. This is your cat in the wall. I don't know what to tell you. And yes, I recognize the owners agreed to this. They agreed to these types of fines. I recognize that fully. So I'm just going to go to the next loophole. And I would play Lowry and 7 other healthy bodies. It would be Jaden Springer. It would be KJ Martin. It would be Oscar Tshiebwe. It would be Micah Potter. And then whoever else. Give me 3 other guys, who you don't think are going to help you win. And that's what Charlotte's getting. But here's your star. Here's Lowry Markkanen. Because otherwise, I think the Jazz might have played Walker and John and Colin and actually made a run at it. Not a run at it, but played a game. So I'm with you. I do think that's a good point.
Why didn't they find the Jazz last year for sitting Lowry?
Yeah. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe
they sat Lowry a ton last year.
Maybe it's been too many times. Yeah, he did.
That's just too many times.
He literally got shut down for the end of the season. Lowry
too many times. I mean, come on.
I'm going to ask.
Come on.
I will do the research. I don't have the ability. I didn't have the ability to do it last night. I will do the research.
And I'm totally shooting from the hip here. I'm not going off any information, but there's got to be something else. There's got to be something because the NBA, listen, the NBA has all sorts of crazy rules that they could enforce on anybody at any time. You remember the flopping rule that just disappeared into thin air? That's still on the books. If they wanted to step in.
And once every 30 games, somebody gets caught in the speed trap. Like Josh Hart has been fined this year. You'll find $12,000 or something.
Right. And, it's kind of like the refs taking it out on Rudy. Do you remember when that happened? Like Rudy barbecued the refs, and the next game was the tennis racket swing in Houston where he took the cup off the...
It fouled out on the opening tip.
It was so retaliatory.
Yep.
It's amazing. But what did they do? They said, you can't do this. We found a rule about the jump ball that we were going to call because we don't like this guy.
Yep.
And then when he realized what we were doing and blew his top after we called a foul on him 15 seconds later, then we threw him out of the game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
fully.
We found the rules to hold you accountable. And Rudy said, well, that's not fair. And they said, well, we don't care.
Yeah.
So I want to know what brought this on from the NBA. I really do. And I'm glad you're going to get after it, Ben, because it's got to be something.
I will do some digging because I'm curious. I would be – look, here's the thing. Lowry knows what's going on. I think Lowry does want to play. I don't think Lowry likes tanking. I don't think Lowry would go to the NBA and be like, I'm frustrated. Personally, I don't think that. But so I
would. I mean, you could think of it like this. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Lowry's like, listen, I got to have value out there. Other teams have got to want me. I've got a huge salary now, and I'm not going to be one of those, I can only go one place and it's another crappy team because they're the only ones that are going to take on my salary. I've got to have value, so I got places to go.
I think that would have been a much bigger deal last year when he was trying to sign a contract, and the Jazz just gave him his max deal anyways.
That's the thing. He wanted the contract.
So he was going to play along.
Absolutely. I've seen NBA players do that a million times. Yeah. I will do whatever until that ink is dry, and then I'll figure it out. Yeah. I mean, that's the NBA way.
Yeah, it is. Be a good soldier until you don't have to be.
Right. So now he's like, I don't want to submarine my value because I've got all ththese years and all this money left on this deal, and I can't be the old maid. I can't be Bradley Beal. I got to be – other teams have got to see me ball.
Yeah.
See that I'm a 25-a-night dude. The problem is it's what kind of 25, and I actually don't think he'll play all that well if he closes the season.
Sure.
But, all right. Well,
that was a good game, though.
Top 3 stories coming up next. We can talk about the game itself.
Yeah.
All right. More straight ahead, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present...
This is JJ and Alex.
Joining us on the program right now, he's Tim Lacombe.
I've often said that hype and success have killed many a career because it is so hard to live up to the expectations. I don't know, if Utah can ever get necessarily back to that same kind of dominance, but to bring people in that saw that place when it was rocking, understood what it is, plays to that legacy, I think that's really smart.
You know Alex well. What qualities does he have to be successful as a head coach at Utah?
His intellect was always impressive, and I was at Utah when he came as a freshman, and I just remember how aghast Majerus was with how much he knew about the game. He's always been cerebral and always been intellectual. He's approached the game that way. With that intellect is a heck of a lot of grit.
Catch JJ and Alex afternoons from 3 to 6. Presented by G2G Bars on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. On 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination at KSLSports.com/contests. And listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week, sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. Let's get to the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. Christian, where do you want to start?
Number 1, it's conference tournament time. BYU, they're on right now, taking on Iowa State. Utah State, they're playing later tonight.
Apologies to Christian for the late start, as he's going to be producing that game. No? Not tonight? Oh, you lucky dog. That's bad news for Utah State, though.
Iowa State.
We'll get to that in a second. 8-5 right now with 17 and a half to go in the first half.
Better start for both these teams in their last
8-5
game.
who, Jake?
BYU's
BYU, sorry about that.
Iowa State beat Cincinnati yesterday, 76-56 to advance. Colorado, that we're making fun of, beat West Virginia 67-60. VJ Edgecombe and Baylor easily ran past Kansas State 70-56. And then how about Kansas having to go to overtime to beat Central Florida? This is not your father's Kansas team anymore. I think Bill Self's still a good coach. But, man, the NIL leveling the playing field has just been doomsday for some of these teams.
Crushed the Toop.
So
the Toop's in trouble.
So I don't think they're going to get too far in this tournament.
It's good for BYU that they've gotten out to a good start. I was talking to Coach Lacombe about this off the air last night as we were watching the game. But a lot of these teams that played the night before will get off to a good start against the teams with byes.
Got a little rhythm.
And then the team with bye, kicks in and the other team gets tired and whatever. So the fact that BYU is up early on Iowa State, I think, is probably a pretty good sign for the Cougs, and definitely shows that winning those games at the end was absolutely worth it to get the fourth slot in the tourney.
Hit some shots, get a little momentum early, and I think BYU will be just fine.
Can I tell you that Kepa Keita has easily been my favorite local college basketball player the last 2 years?
Okay.
I just love the way that dude plays.
He's freaky athletic.
I know he's not skilled enough to play at the next level unless something dramatic happens or whatever. But every college team needs that guy.
Yeah.
Like, plays his guts out, super athletic,
8
huge.
Offensive rebounds. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously plays with a lot of passion. He's not one of those guys going out there and loafing it. Sets a good tone. I mean, that chase down block against Iowa State, speaking of Iowa State, was, I don't know, maybe the highlight of the year? Pretty close.
Yeah, it's got to be up there, for sure.
All right, and then Utah State, UNLV, coming up at 9 p.m., a 9 p.m. tip for the Aggies.
It's 9:30, right? Is
it 9:30?
Yeah.
Oh, our coverage probably starts at 9. I bet that's what DJ was talking about. It is so lame that UNLV gets home court advantage in the tournament. I understand why.
Yep.
But so lame, because then you get the late tip because they have UNLV be the finale or whatever, what everybody's there to see.
Right.
It's like, so you have to play in the middle of the night. You got to play a road game I hope the Aggie faithful flooded down to Vegas. I hope they're pulling on the slots right now.
I hope they're sleeping. They're going to be up until 2 a.m.
Yeah, need rest.
Yeah.
Rest up. Hit the slots later.
Yeah.
Take it easy. But yeah, conference tournament time is cool. I do think conference tournaments are counterproductive in a way, but it is cool for basketball fans, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's like the bowl season, right? There's just games all over all the time, middle of the day, and then of course starting on the 20th, we'll be right back at it. Technically, it probably starts that Tuesday before the 18th is when the NCAA tournament starts with the play-ins, but
11 to 8 with 15:50. We've got a timeout there in
BYU
Kansas City.
up.
Man, I hate that floor. All right, what's next?
Number 2, the Clubbies. They got a big win last night at home over Anaheim.
Keller on the half wall for Hayden. He backs his way in. Keller pulling the strings. One-timer. Gunther, he scores! You can't stop it. You know it's coming, and you cannot do anything about it.
That is the most consistent scoring opportunity the Utah Hockey Club gets. It certainly helps when it's in the power play like that was. That was the ultimate game winner from Dylan Gunther. But that left faceoff circle, if you give him any space and he gets a one-timer, it's going in. It's crazy how accurate he is with that shot. It's amazing anyone ever gives him any opportunity to get it off, especially, power play forces you to do it. But he is very cool. He's a fun young player to watch. His 8th game-winning goal already this season in the third period or overtime, tied for third in the NHL as a 20 or 21-year-old. It's pretty awesome. But that was a big win. They needed those 2 points, especially because Vancouver and Calgary ahead of them went to overtime, so they each got a point, which stunk. So Utah Hockey Club 2 points back of that final wild card spot.
They're
right in it. It's cool. They're right there.
I was following Cole on the Snap Talk last night, and I'm trying to find it, but because he said it better than I could, I suppose. I think it was Cole anyway. Was talking about. Here he is talking about. Here's Cole Bagley. Of course, follows or covers for KSL Sports. Utah's third line has been so much better with McBain and Doan alongside Krause. They're big, physical, relentless, suffocating, and punish the opposition consistently on every shift. Krause has gotten back to his game with those two. I thought to myself, really nice when your team gets healthy.
Yeah.
At the right time.
Yep.
And you can find those right combos with the, I think of that year, the magical year that Donovan and Rudy, it was Donovan's rookie season, and they were 9 games out of the playoffs in January, and they just played their brains out.
Yeah.
And, that was a great story that year. But remember, they were all sorts of banged up all through December, and they missed Rudy, and they really had to learn to play defense without Rudy, and then all of a sudden Rudy came back, and it just all clicked. And they were the best defensive team in the league all of a sudden, and Donovan was scoring a zillion points, and the team was really just off and running. I credit a lot of that with all of a sudden a healthy Rudy came back, and they had all of their cards that they could play. All of those combos, and everybody else had upped their game, and they just had this special sauce. And I don't know if that's happening with the Utah Hockey Club, not at that level anyway, but that tweet made a lot of sense when I read it. And it's like, oh, yeah, you get everybody back together, and all of a sudden your third line is balling.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference.
And Andre Tierney's had to make a tough decision. Matias Michelli doesn't play anymore, and he was a good player. He was a good player last year. He was one of their better young players, and they said, you know what? What he does, which he's a very highly skilled player, unbelievable passer, good skater. They said, we need something different. And Josh Doan comes in, and he is just the word that Cole used, relentless. He is just attacking nonstop. He's all energy, all the time, chasing pucks. And just by doing that, he creates plays. In fact, he drew the penalty that led to the game winner for Dylan Gunther there, just by out-hustling 4 other players from the Ducks. It was an awesome play. So that's good coaching. That's making adjustments. That's a gutsy call to go with a young player in Josh Doan to step in and hope it fixes your veteran third line, and it did. So good coaching there, and it's put them in a situation where they have a chance to make the playoffs.
His dad, Shane, was in attendance last night.
Yeah, Shane, who's the probably greatest Arizona Coyote of all time, is now an executive in Toronto, was there at the game. Very cool.
But not Pat McAfee.
I don't think so. No.
He could have been. But you're right. He would have let us know.
Yeah, that wasn't him.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. All right, next.
Number 3, apparently headbands not enough to pick up a win in Memphis.
Do we know what that was all about?
So
was
Lauren
that about the
Green,
fine?
the sideline reporter for the Jazz, explained that Isaiah Collier, he's had braids this whole season. He combed out his braids. So he had kind of a little mini fro thing going. And he decided to wear a headband with it. And because he wore it, they were just kind of being passed around. And one of the other players put it on, and they all just decided, let's all wear headbands.
Except for Colin.
Except for Colin.
Your tweet was really funny, Ben.
I have said this over and over. Colin operates on a different wavelength than anybody I've ever met, and certainly any other player on the team. And it's not a lack of buy-in. There's nobody more bought into being an NBA player than Colin Sexton. That dude is all business, and it's really fun to cover, actually. But he is not going to change his routine for anybody.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if every other player on the team, including Keontae George, who was missing the game with an injury, was wearing the headband on the sideline. Colin says, no, I don't wear headbands. So he didn't wear it, even though everybody else did.
Ben, now I certainly wouldn't want to speak for anybody, let alone the late, great Jerry Sloan, but I feel pretty confident about this next take. You know who Jerry's favorite player on this Jazz team would be? Colin Sexton.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you remember the headband ban?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, Jerry didn't want a headband within a country mile of him or his team.
Correct, and they didn't.
And they did not.
Yep.
He did not. He was not a man who liked headbands. He would have been very grumpy watching the game last night.
But you're right.
Very grumpy. But then he would have seen
adored Colin
and said, that's my guy.
Yeah, he would have loved Colin. You know what? He also would have loved that Colin got in John Morant's face late in the game and then went after him after the game as well.
By the way, what?
Yeah.
Why would I usually understand why NBA players are bent out of shape? I didn't get that one.
From Ja?
From Ja? Yeah.
Well,
why are you?
I don't know if he thought it was a low blow or he hit him in the air or whatever, but it was silly.
Settle down, John. Just trying not to, he got pushed into him, basically.
Yeah, he did. And Colin's a maniac, so maybe you're just mad at Colin because he's a maniac. He's a crazy person, in a good way, in a very nice way to have on a basketball court.
I've got a funny off-air thing.
Okay, great. So, anyways, it was a fun game. The Jazz had the same formula all 5 games on this road trip. They fell behind double digits. They tied the game or were down 1 or 2 in the final 3 minutes, and they ultimately lost, which, truthfully, if you're a Jazz fan rooting for a high draft pick, it's the perfect scenario. Close game, important possessions, development opportunities, and a loss.
Now, if you were Ryan Smith, where would that $100K come from? I asked that because the broadcast assistants last night were funny.
You mean like left pocket or right pocket?
No, they were like, oh, that's coming right out of the broadcast assistant's budget. That was the joke around the studio last night. Where are you taking it from?
Yeah, he takes the $2 hot dogs, he pumps them up to $3. The nachos are up to $3 tomorrow. You make it back in 3 days.
Okay. Not the broadcast assistants.
They don't make $100,000 combined.
Yeah, that's probably true. All right, stay tuned. What is our score? We're going to break here, Christian. What do we have? 20 to 15. BYU leading Iowa State. 13 minutes to go in the first half. Yeah. So we'll keep you up to date throughout the show. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
So you think you know everything about college basketball, huh?
These people are not dumb. They're very smart.
Okay, smart guy. Time to put that knowledge to the test and go head-to-head with the Zone staff. It's another edition of KSL Sports Basketball Mayhem. When the brackets are announced this Sunday, log on to KSLSports.com and fill out your bracket. The listener with the top bracket will receive $1,000 of cold, hard cash. And if you finish with a better bracket than... let's see here. Who can we pick on? How about Jeremiah Jensen? You'll be entered into a drawing to win $500. It's KSL Sports Basketball Mayhem on KSLSports.com. What's that? Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
1, 2, 3, move it.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob N, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This segment is brought to you by Peach Doors and Windows. Amazing home transformations begin with Peach, where 5-star reviews are the norm. Call them today for your free in-home estimate, 801-566-1255. Let's also give away some tickets. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. You're going to win a 4-pack of tickets to go see the Utah Royals take on Bay FC on Saturday, March 15th at America First Field. Confirmed. It is a 4-pack.
Duke already in trouble against Georgia Tech. I'd have to find the score at halftime, but they were down double digits early in this game. Cooper Flagg goes up for a rebound. He's several feet off the ground and came down and rolled his ankle about as badly as you'll see an ankle roll. Just one of the really ugly ones. Lands with all of his weight on one foot, on another person's foot, and it flips over, and not just sideways. It kind of does the front roll over itself. So I would suspect he's done for the ACC tournament, and Duke may not last long anyways, but I'll be very curious if he's available for the NCAA tournament, which would be too bad. Cooper Flagg's going to be the number 1 overall pick and is one of the 2 best players in college basketball right now.
So on the scale of 1 being John Stockton and he probably plays tomorrow, and 10 being Kawhi Leonard and we'll never see him again, where do you think Cooper Flagg falls? Where does this injury fall?
Who's his agent? Does he CAA? What did we figure out? Who's representing him?
I think it was, right?
That probably will play a role in it. Who says, like, all right, not only are you not playing the rest of the year, we're not going to let you play Summer League either, but yeah, you're going to be the number 1 overall pick regardless, so it's fine. I honestly think there's a chance we don't see him play college again. It was that bad of an ankle roll. And not that I'm a doctor or pretending to be a doctor. We just know that when there's an injury, they don't let guys play any further.
Well, back to the complexity of the Lowry Markkanen situation. How hurt are you? I mean,
Exactly
speaking of Duke, didn't Kyrie Irving get a hangnail?
Yeah, and didn't play the rest of the year.
And didn't play the rest of the year.
And knew he was going to be the number 1 overall pick, so what did it matter? And you hope Cooper wants to see his team win and make a run, and Duke has a legitimate chance to win a national championship this year, but only if he's on the floor.
What was it, like a bunion?
It technically was a broken bone, right, in a foot, but I think you had gone back. It was like turf toe.
Yeah, something like that.
Wasn't that serious?
At a brutal corn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Hangnail.
It can be tough.
Yeah.
All right, Mike Smith is going to join the show coming up next. BYU currently leads Iowa State 25-21 with 9 minutes to go in the first half.
The good sign here is that BYU's on fire. The bad sign is they're on fire and they're only up by 4.
Mike Smith, of course, former BYU basketball player himself. We can get Mike's take on the Cougs as well as the Jazz. That's coming up straight ahead. Jacob Men, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The sports you love, the teams you can't live without.
Get a sense of urgency!
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Join JJ and Alex coming up tomorrow from 3 to 6 at Doug Smith Mitsubishi, 495 West Main Street in American Fork. Right off the freeway. No one knows Mitsubishi like Doug. BYU, Iowa State all tied up at 32 apiece. 6 minutes, 40 seconds
6 3/4 left.
Ben, can I ask you this question real quick? We're hoping to talk to Mike in a second, Mike Smith. Let's see. Minnesota Athletic Director Mark Coyle announces in a 1:22 a.m. news release
Central
that Minnesota has parted ways with their basketball coach, Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
What's up with the 1:22?
You got to do it at 1 a.m. You simply must.
Is he just an insomniac or something?
At 2:30. Well, they played and lost last night, right? Did they play the late game in the Big Ten tournament?
Yeah, that's probably likely.
I think that would be the decision, but just fire him in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or right after the game. Why
We fired
1:22?
him. We told him. He knows. So we want to get out in front of it, I guess, before he tells somebody and then complains about it. But I'm with you. I thought the 1:22 aspect of it was strange.
Here's what I hope it was. I hope that the athletic director was somewhat on the fence or even was going to keep the coach. And then after the game, they had such a strong disagreement, it led to like a fist fight in the hotel room. And then he said, not only are you fired, but I'm announcing you're you're firing right now.
You're out of here, pal. Should Minnesota be a better sports school? They're dominant in hockey, obviously, though Minnesota, the Boston colleges, and I don't mean Boston College, but the colleges in Boston, some of those Midwestern places have some great hockey programs. But should they be like a better football team and a better basketball team? There's like good players that come from there.
Are there?
Maybe not football-wise. There are good basketball players. Minnesota's got a reasonably rich history for basketball. I mean, Chet Holmgren just came out of that state. He was always going to go to Gonzaga.
I don't know. I'd have to know more about the inner workings of that particular university. We have a dear friend that went there and enjoyed the experience. I'd have to know more about it. I would guess that they have some recruiting challenges.
I think Jalen Suggs also grew up in Minnesota. The excellent guard for... he's from St. Paul, for the Orlando Magic right now, who also went to Gonzaga, which is why Chet ended up there. There's some players there. It's like a cool town. Minnesota's a very cool town.
Minnesota is a state, not a town.
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
Is a cool town. Pardon me.
Yeah.
And St. Paul, cool town.
It's so cold.
It is cold.
Now,
it's
I remember when Gary Anderson took the Wisconsin job, and Gary Anderson was part of the Ron McBride Polynesian pipeline kind of thing. And I know he faced some challenges when he went to Wisconsin because of climate.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Think as simply as how many Southern Californians do you have in your life that are so soft and living here just complain?
Our friend Kristen Peak, who grew up here, right, and moved to Vegas for 5 minutes and is like, I hate Salt Lake. It's too cold.
PK's lived here for 30 years.
Right.
He complains every time the temperature drops below 50. You know?
Yeah.
Like some people just don't want to go, I don't know if there's enough talent locally, football or basketball, to make them awesome. And then I don't know how easy it is to talk.
Okay.
I'd
believe that.
So I don't know. All right, joining us now. Of course, you see him right there on KJazz, Jazz Plus, SEG Plus. You can hear him on our radio pregame shows once in a while. He's our buddy Mike Smith. What's going on, Mike?
What's going on, guys? How are you?
Mike, is it fair to assume you're a BYU fan, or do you not call yourself a fan anymore?
Are you kidding? I'm a huge fan.
Because you don't talk about it a whole lot. It's not your identity.
No, I don't know why that is. I don't know. I love BYU football and BYU basketball like you can't believe.
Okay.
So I did go through a long stretch where I was away, either playing ball or playing overseas and, doing my own thing and then living in California. So it's not like I was here and going to those games. But, gosh, since I've moved back here, heck yeah, I love it.
Oh, man.
I love it. I've always loved them both. So
the Cougs just got a much-needed 3. They were on a serious scoring drought. They're now down 43-37 to Iowa State. So I'm
watching right along with you, Jake. That kid for Iowa State just made 3 in a row. Now they just left somebody else open.
Yeah,
Yikes. Iowa State just made 4 threes in 2 minutes.
Mike, what are your thoughts on conference tournaments overall? Did you like them as a player? Do you like them as a fan? What do you think?
Oh, they're a blast. They are a blast, and I don't know that we had the hype or they had the hype back then as they do now, but, maybe it's just all perspective, right? Maybe they were just as popular and just as fun for us back then. I love the fact that, back then our venue would switch. So we were in the Western Athletic Conference, so, we would go from New Mexico hosting or maybe the Marriott Center hosting or the U hosting. I think the U hosted my senior year. We hosted my junior year. I can't remember who hosted my sophomore year, but they were a blast. And you saw some crazy stuff, right? Like my junior year, that's the year we started 17-0 and rose all the way up to number 2 in the nation and then went like 13-3 in conference and hosted the tournament and lost in the semis to Texas El Paso and Tim Hardaway on our home court. I think that might have been my most painful college loss, even though tournament losses were like NCAA tournament losses were more final. They had more finality, but that one stung like none of the others.
It's a part of basketball, so I know players are used to it. Do they celebrate the ability to play back-to-back nights, 3-and-3 nights, or is that something you wish didn't exist in the tournament?
You're talking college?
Yeah.
I am just not a believer, Ben, in this whole fatigue stuff, right? Like these guys are young guys. They're young. Even the pros are young. I'm not in the camp of, let's lengthen the NBA season, have more days between games. Let's just schedule it the way it's scheduled. It doesn't have to be so player friendly now. I'm not in that camp. When these college guys get together and they play 3 games in 3 nights or 4 games in 4 nights, awesome stuff.
Huh.
That's where you see the best shine. I don't love the fact that the best players in the world play 1 year of college and go on, but, it is what it is. It's okay. So this is a chance to see the best, line up 4 nights in a row. I think it's great for fans. I haven't watched every Big 12 team this year. I've only watched the teams that BYU's played or an occasional Utah game, but I haven't watched any other Big 12 game. I haven't watched a Kansas K-State game or any of the other matchups that didn't include one of the teams here in state. But now I get to dive in, be in the office all day, and just have it up on my TV, and I'm digging in, and I get to see these guys. And if I like a guy, I'm like, oh, I get to see him tomorrow because they won. I think it's fun, right? So I'm all for playing the next night and line them up. Let's see how good they really are.
All right, Mike, if I'm doing my history correctly, you made the NCAA tournament 3 times.
Yes, indeed.
Lost in the second round twice, in the first round once. Did I get that right?
You got that right. Are you trying to?
No.
Painful moments.
No, I think you'll get where I'm going. The nice part about BYU being in the Big 12 and this season and BYU playing so well in particular is they're going to get a seed. And I thought this was going to be true last year, and it wasn't, so maybe it won't be. But they're going to get a seeded where they're going to have a matchup advantage in at least the first round, or you would hope so. And so my question to you is, in your tournament experience, how much did it matter, what team you got matched up with, as opposed to seed or anything like that? We had the better team that day.
Who did we beat my freshman year in the first round? Is it like Alabama, Birmingham, or someone?
I don't know, Mike. You were there.
Before we lost to Kentucky?
I don't know. Give me a second. That sounds right.
I can't remember. I can remember the other ones. I can remember all the others. But first year we beat somebody in the first round. And then we lost to Kentucky. That's a Kentucky team in 1983. They went to the Final Four. Loses to Georgetown in the semis. That's a massive Kentucky team with Jim Master and Dickie Beal and a couple of great freshmen and Sam Bowie and Mel Turpin. They were monsters. And we had played them in the regular season.
You beat UAB.
Yeah, there you go.
Lost to Kentucky.
Right. So we beat UAB, and then we lost to Kentucky. So that matchup, in that seeding, didn't work for us. But I don't think we were a high seed. We went maybe 22-10 or 22-11 or something prior to that. The next year I played was after my mission, and again we were like one of those teams, 23-11. Didn't win the conference title, but got in because of strength of schedule. Liddell Anderson, our coach, always believed in playing tough teams, and it was so different then. You didn't have the algorithms and the rankings like you do now. But that year we played New Orleans. That one's painful to me. I think we're up 4 with a minute and a half to go and lost. Really painful. I think I had 29 and 15 in that game. We lost that game to Benny Dees was the coach. Liddell Eccles was their best player. He later played for the Washington Wizards for a run of 10 years in the NBA. And then my junior year was the year we were really good. And that's the year we were a 4 seed. And so I thought, okay, for the first time, we're going to go to the Southeast Conference because they played on Thursday and Saturday, or the regional, and we're going to get a good seed. We ended up with North Carolina, Charlotte. First round, we beat them. And second round, we had Louisville. And get this, Ben and Jake, Louisville that year had 7 future pros.
Yeah, I'm looking at the roster right now. Purvis Ellison, which is
Cook,
awesome.
Purvis Ellison, Kenny Payne, LaBradford Smith,
Felton Spencer, former Jazz man.
Kenny Williams, Felton Spencer. Like, it was ridiculous. And it was like a Denny Crum team that had underachieved. They might have been 17 and 14 or some weird number, and they were the 13 seed or something weird, or maybe the 11 seed. And so we get by the first round. Sure enough, we play them. That's a Hall of Fame coach with 7 pros. And the funny thing is, we started the game ahead 13-2. And I'm like, holy cow, we're going to blow these guys out of the building. And Denny Crum called timeout. I'd already made 2 threes. And Denny Crum called timeout, and he started to switch every screen and roll and every pin down. Switched them with athletic wings. He took one of their bigs out, and he just started switching everything. And our big center, Jim Yusevich, got in foul trouble, and that was it for us. Like, we just didn't have the horses. It ended up ugly, I think. But anyway, that was a painful one.
Well, I'm impressed by your memory.
So the seeding didn't help. Yeah, my memory's okay.
But that was a bad matchup. I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it
right.
was a horrible matchup.
Yeah.
How do we go, whatever we were, 25-5, win the conference, and we're a 4 seed? There was no respect to the teams out west back then. And we end up with Louisville in round 2. Oh, well. It's our own fault. It's our own fault. We should have just been better. I should have played better. There you go.
Who was the best college basketball player you played against, since we're talking about memories?
Wow, good question. Wow. Maybe Tim Hardaway?
The UTEP 2-step.
Like, he was unbelievable. But he went back to Chicago every year and played in the Chicago Summer League. Like, every year he got better. I'm trying to think of non-conference games. Yeah, he was the best in our conference. And he and I share a couple Player of the Year awards, like back-to-back-to-back. So he was good. Matter of fact, I was the 13th pick. He was the 14th pick. Go figure. And in my draft, I thought Boston was taking him, and I thought Golden State was taking me. And it went the reverse. Boston needed a point guard. Dennis Johnson was 36, and Nelson always liked versatile, tall guys. Spreading the floor, shooting threes, doing stuff like that. And then the whole draft got messed up. But anyway, there you go.
Do you think that's where Danny Ainge's obsession with height goes for? He loves drafting big guys as well. He likes tall guys with skills.
I think he loves versatility. I just think he loves guys who can make plays and guys who have that all-around, skill set. So, Filipowski fits that mold. Yeah. Olynyk fits that mold. He probably drafted Olynyk when he was in Boston. But he likes, as Tim Lacombe said last night on our pregame show, he likes kind of the freakish, and that's not the right word, but maybe it's the uniqueness of certain guys. They have a speed factor, a strength factor, a length factor, or in this case, a skill factor, that sets them apart. And because you get to the NBA, you gather the best athletes in the world. So there's got to be something that makes you different. And I think to stand out in the league, you got to have something a little different. How good was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander last night down the stretch? I know you guys watched a little bit of that.
Oh, of course we did. It was up in the command center. You know that.
Yeah, wasn't that awesome? Like, that was statement game in Boston, with Boston playing everybody, and Boston shooting. I don't know how many threes they took, but they had over. How many threes they ended up taking? They took for.
It was like 63 or something stupid.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was some crazy number. Well, what can I tell you guys about anything?
Let's see here. They were 20 for 63.
Oh, that's a lot.
As long as we were bringing up Oklahoma City, I'll ask you an overall NBA question, because Ben's favorite reporter and well-known LeBron James mouthpiece, Windy, the windbag, is out there saying that nobody in the West respects Oklahoma City. And obviously, he's pumping up his guy LeBron and saying the Lakers have a chance. I mean, that's his ultimate message. But what do you make of the lack of respect or reported lack of respect for Oklahoma City? Because I love them. I mean, top 5 offense, top 5 defense. They're way tougher than they were last year. I think they're a way better team than they were last year. What do you think about all that?
I mean, I don't know the comments, so I don't know what he's saying, but I just think they're great. I think they're going to win the West. They just have it. Like if you asked me 3 months ago, I'm kind of like, do they have that extra piece of scoring they're going to need? But after watching them last night, and I came home from the Jazz game, and then I watched that whole game, like they had guys who made shots and scored who've now grown up. Like Cason Wallace made plays down the stretch. And I thought of him earlier in the year as a defender. Isaiah Joe steps up and shoots the lights out and makes threes. Did Jalen Williams not play in that game last night?
He did not play, I believe.
Yeah. So, I never saw him, and I was just like, whoa. Like, they beat Boston without him. He's their number 2. He's Robin to Shea's Batman. And that doesn't mean they're going to win the NBA championship, because sometimes it does take a trip there to get through it. But I don't know who in the West beats them.
Here's real quick.
I realized Denver split with them a week ago, right? They won one and lost one, but I just think they're that good, and Shea is that good.
Here's the quote,
they're
real
well
quick.
Coached, they're together.
Here's your quote, Mike, and then you can. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but he said, "quote." This is Windhorst. I hear it implicitly from other people I talk to in the league. I hear it implicitly from players out there who are like, yeah, we'll be fine on the same side of the bracket as OKC. They just don't respect them. So there it is.
And I can see that. I can see, like a Laker team, a LeBron, just thinking, heck, I got Luka, I got this, in a 7-game series, it slows down, and we'll figure it out. But I just think in a 7-game series, the Thunder are going to wear them down. They're just going to wear them down. Their defense travels.
Mike, I could geek out with you because I've been, while you've been talking, I've been doing research of the best players you played against at BYU. Do you remember playing?
Go for it.
You played Kentucky in 83, 84 as well during the regular season, I believe.
Heck yeah, like Sam Bowie, Mel Turpin, those guys.
Yeah, Kenny Skywalker.
Yep, not better than Tim Hardaway, but yes, I recall all those guys.
Okay, and then that same year you played Georgetown.
Oh gosh, that's right.
Patrick Ewing and Reggie Williams.
Not just Reggie Williams, but like Michael Jackson, Gene Smith, Patrick Ewing,
Dave Wingate,
Michael Graham. Yeah, so Ewing's probably the best.
Yeah.
There you go. And you know what's funny about that, Ben? They pressured us full court the whole game, and I'm a freshman. I don't remember what game it is, but we're at the Cap Center. And Coach says to me after the first time out, I'm a freshman. He goes, Smitty, you bring the ball up the floor. Our guards can't get it up the floor. And it was true. We could not get the ball up the floor against their pressure. And so I brought it up the floor against big 6'10" Michael Graham. If you remember that guy in one of the NCAA finals, I think he went nuts, like had some massive dunks, either that year or 2 years later or something. Anyway, yeah, those were big teams. Remember Liddell liked playing some of the bigs to kind of give us an idea where we stood.
53-49 is the score of the half. The Cougars are down 4.
Nice close for
to
BYU.
Iowa State. Yeah, they finished the half a little bit better. Cada couldn't get that layup.
Yeah.
That's a high-scoring game.
Yeah, they're scoring some points for sure. This is Mike Smith style over here.
Yeah.
Mike, you are the best. Thank you for jumping on with us, buddy.
Anytime, guys. You guys are the best. I'll see you soon. Jake, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, buddy. Thanks, Mike. That's our friend Mike Smith. Jumps on with us on Thursdays. And what a great time to have Mike on. Talking college basketball and tournament and
reminiscing.
All sorts of stuff.
I could geek out on that as a
Mike
basketball sicko. He plays some of the greatest players of all time.
He played against some guys.
I mean, Patrick Ewing, college, Georgetown is up there as it gets. I mean, that's elite, superstar, highly vaunted, exciting basketball. And yeah, the team was just stacked. Crazy.
I'd love to watch Mike's BYU team play against Tim Hardaway's UTEP team in a conference tournament.
Yeah.
I bet that was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, right, like you said, drafted right next to each other.
So big thanks to Mike for jumping on with us. We'll have more for you coming up next. We'll keep you updated on what's going on with the BYU game, although they are at the half, so might be a minute. Stay tuned.
See
we'll
what's
have
happening
more
with Duke.
next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G.
The general manager of the Utah Hockey Club, Bill Armstrong. So down the stretch, it seems like every game has a playoff-like feel to it. Is that something that this team has embraced coming down the stretch here?
There's a lot of pressure that sits on top of our players. It's a must-win every game. But I like that. It's all about playing meaningful games down the stretch because we want to experience that pressure on our back where it's a must-win every single night and we have to be at our best no matter who's coming in. We've got to find a way to win. I've really liked how our guys have responded. We've been down a few goals and fought back to get points, and that's what you have to do at this time of the year. And there's a lot of hockey left. We got to keep pace with everybody else and keep winning and finding ways to get points. We got some big games coming up against some teams that are right in the race too, and we can take care of a lot of our problems by just beating those teams.
Catch Hans and Scotty weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. What's that? Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
1, 2, 3, move it.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. March is here, and KSL Sports is looking to hook you up. Go to KSLSports.com. Sign up for the KSL Sports Basketball Mayhem. Make your picks for a chance to win $1 million for a perfect bracket. The best local bracket wins $1,000, and if you beat KSL Sports host Jeremiah Jensen, you'll be entered to win $500. So giving away a bunch of cash, Ben, which is pretty cool. Can I hit you with a couple of stories that don't mean anything, and we don't have to dwell, but they interest me?
Okay, I've got one too. So
Zach Wilson's fiance had her bachelorette party.
Okay.
And she went to Cabo.
Great.
Which good for you, or good for her. But I want to know, are you going to be doing a bachelor party? You're engaged. Are you going to do one of those? Is your fiance going to be bacheloretting it?
I don't know. I hope so. Not for me. I don't care. I couldn't care less.
She should go to Cabo.
Yeah, go to Cabo. You and the gals, go down there. Did you see she got featured on the broadcast last night?
No.
Yeah, she got featured.
I did see. I saw your Instagram video. That was awesome.
Did she? Good for her. What were they? What were they?
It's
talking
women's
about?
international.
So just talking about what
talking about women in the. They're spotlighting women in the organization.
What a big deal.
Yeah.
That she is.
She got a little feature.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
I
Anyway.
think she should go to Cabo.
Yeah, go to Cabo. Yeah, absolutely.
Cut it loose down there in Cabo.
I agree. She should just move to Cabo, and I'll come visit.
Would you be worried about it? Does she have like rowdy friends that would?
I hope she'd be the rowdy one. Yeah,
help her make bad decisions?
I hope she would lead everyone else to make bad decisions.
I'm sure I've asked you this before, Christian, but did you do a bachelor party?
Yeah, we went to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that's pretty standard right there. How was it?
It was fun. It was great. Good time. Nice weather.
What percentage of it can you talk about?
Probably 6 or 7.
Wow, that's low.
Like, where did you stay?
Wow, now I have.
We stayed at an Airbnb.
End of story. That was it. That was the party.
I have all these questions now. Yeah. 6 or 7%?
No, probably like 80%.
Oh, okay. Pretty good.
It was also my brother's 21st birthday too, so we did a combined.
What a party.
Yeah.
How old were you?
23.
Okay.
Can I plan your bachelor party, Ben?
Sure.
Really?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Oh man, where should we go? Where should we go? We got to go somewhere. I did a bachelor party in New Orleans once, which was incredible.
I've never been to New Orleans. So.
Oh, it was like the world's best place to
cut loose,
to have a bachelor party. And then I have one movie question for you, and this is very self-serving. And then I'll give you the time. But you have your finger on the pulse of Hollywood.
Sure.
You have family who's in the movie making business, and my kids like movies, and so I'd like to take them to the theater to see a movie because they really enjoy that experience. But the kids' movies have just been
okay. I saw one over the weekend.
Like have just been brutal. We went and saw Moana 2. That's the last one we went to see. And now Disney is coming out with Snow White. And I got to tell you, I have not been wild about Disney's live action reheats.
They've never been good.
I think they're all quite bad. But I will suffer through them if it means we can have a good experience for my kids. But I'm a little worried. So tell me if this is bad. Disney is going to host a premiere of Snow White, but they will not be rolling out a robust red carpet like usual. They'll have festivities, but it's going to be a closed-door affair. So basically, they're canceling their premiere as much as you can cancel a premiere. So that's got to be an indication that this is the worst movie ever made, right?
No. Do you know the backstory here?
Well, I know it's been controversial.
Gal Gadot, or Gadot, who's in it, was a former member of the Israeli military and is quite pro-Israel.
Okay.
Which, yeah, she's from Israel.
Which is fine.
And was served in the military there. But it has created some uproar.
And so that's why they're canceling. So it might not stink out loud.
Oh, it will, because all of these stink out loud. But that was part of it.
The Mouse is frustrating me because I wish instead of paying Screaming A. Smith, they would make another good movie.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And not like Moana 2 was okay, I guess, but sequels are always a downer because it's never as good as the first. And now all they're doing is pumping out sequels. They need a new idea.
I saw Dogman with my son over the weekend.
I don't even know what that is.
Neither did I. It was extraordinarily silly, and I legitimately had some laughs. And your girls would like it. It's very funny. It's silly. There's jokes for dads that you'll laugh at. It's pretty quick.
Part dog, part man, all hero.
Okay, so spoiler. It's about and this is a book series. At the very beginning of the movie, a cop and a dog get blown up. And they can't save the cop's head and they can't save the dog's body, so they fuse the two. And then the whole movie's just ridiculous from there. And I went with my 12-year-old son, who I felt like it was probably a little bit young for him, and he still liked it. So your girls would, I think, be into it.
Why do kids' movies have to start off so horrifically tragic?
It's Bambi.
It's somebody.
It's grim.
No, they kill a parent in every single movie.
Yeah.
Haven't you noticed that?
Yeah. Dumbo.
Frozen, both parents done.
Yeah.
Dumbo, the parent doesn't die but gets separated.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was funny. I laughed. I had some laughs in it.
Beauty and the Beast, Belle's mom, not died during the movie, but died.
Has been dead.
Has been deceased.
Yeah. Dad gets locked up.
All these movies are blatantly anti-parent. Although Dogman, they start out with a death scene?
They don't die. They just fuse the two. And then the whole thing is about him missing his owner, even though he's half his owner. So I don't know. There's some plot holes, but it was funny. I enjoyed it. Your kids would like it. It's 90 minutes, which is good.
Trailer for a live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch came out.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up. Your kids probably aren't into Minecraft, so that movie's coming up in April.
My daughter brought that up with me. She's like, I don't do Minecraft, so I'm
not going to see it.
Not really all that into it. All right, so there's my thanks for you, Ben. I just needed to get your take on that.
My quick story, and I'm just going to do this every time this comes up because I've loved having hockey here, so I would gladly welcome an MLB team as well. Tampa Bay Rays kind of surprisingly announced that they're not moving forward with their new stadium, which seemed signed, sealed, and delivered. And they're because of the hurricane late last year, that blew the roof off of their former building. Was it Tropicana? Is that where they play? Whatever it is, in Tampa. They're not going to build their new arena. They're going to focus on rebuilding that, but it's unsustainable. It's not a good place to play. So there's a lot of pushes, again, to sell the team. And Nashville isn't going to buy them because Nashville's going to get an expansion team at some point soon. So anyways, something to keep an eye on.
Could be another building crisis that forces a franchise to move, Ben?
Yeah.
Is that what you're getting at?
That Tampa has always been...
Where were they going to move it?
Right across the street. They were going to keep it in St. Pete.
Now they're just going to refit it.
Now they're going to fix their old one because the roof is so expensive to fix.
But not reno it. They're just going to fix it.
I think they're just going to fix it and run it back.
That would be funny if Utah got two professional franchises because of stadium problems.
Yeah.
Except for this one
and
has
bad owners, which is how teams move.
But this one has a solution. This one's more complex than the other one. Moreno had nowhere to go.
Correct. And had lied several times.
Yeah. They have some place to go. The place they've been playing forever. You may not like it.
It's a bad old arena.
But I mean, the A's
stadium.
The A's played at whatever that Oakland Coliseum or whatever it was.
Infested.
Forever. I mean, that thing was dilapidated in the 80s. Oakland just lost their franchise. So I think it's a little bit more complex than that.
Yeah.
Moreno was playing at a college stadium with no, like not playing at a college stadium while refitting the Delta Center. Maybe there's a chance, I doubt it, but that the Jazz have to play a few games at the Huntsman Center.
Sure.
What do I keep saying? Morello?
Morello.
Thank you, Christian. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. Morello. But they'd be there temporarily while their building got fixed. They were permanently at Arizona State.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was not sustainable in any way.
Correct. There was no way out. There is a way out here for Tampa. You just go back to the old building.
And Moreno, thank you,
Morello
kept saying, God, I hate names, kept saying, oh, no, I've got a solution for you. We're going to buy this plot of land in, what was it, Scottsdale or whatever.
Yeah.
Even though the mayor came out and said,
no, you're not.
No, you're not.
We're not selling it to you.
No, that's not something that's going to happen. He's like, yes, it is. And the NHL finally they're like, I don't think you have a plan, Phil.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's the case with this one.
What's the plan, Phil?
Because they have a place to play, in theory, as long as they can fix the roof. And it doesn't really matter if it's a dump or not.
Oh, they've got to play. So they're playing at Steinbrenner Field right now, which is where the Yankees play spring ball because it's in Tampa.
Yeah.
Because you can't play in New York in the spring. It's an outdoor stadium. You're going to play outdoors in Florida in the middle of the year for the entire season.
Listen, dude.
It's going to either be the greatest home field advantage of all time, or they're going to have the worst home record. They're going to be my White Sox last year.
Well,
they just can't win a game.
The
It's
Marlins
a trillion degrees.
The Marlins were outside forever, right?
Oh, it's horrible. At least you're on the beach. I mean, Tampa's still coastal. It's on the other coast. It's not South Beach, but it's awful.
I mean, if they play minor league baseball in Las Vegas outside, then you can play anywhere.
I guess. The players aren't going to like it. No one's going to want to do that. People are going to get sick of the ownership. So, but
again,
owners are
I think
terrible.
the Marlins played outside.
They did. I think you're right when they won their World Series, right? Early on.
Both World Series.
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned. We'll wrap up the show coming up next. But yeah, the Major League Baseball dreamers around here. Keep dreaming. Follow it.
Happened with
just
NHL.
saying, it's a little different. When
Things
this
can
case,
happen.
Probably.
Things can get done.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
So you think you know everything about college basketball, huh?
These people are not dumb. They're very smart.
Okay, smart guy. Time to put that knowledge to the test and go head-to-head with the Zone staff. It's another edition of KSL Sports Basketball Mayhem. When the brackets are announced this Sunday, log on to KSLSports.com and fill out your bracket. The listener with the top bracket will receive $1,000 of cold, hard cash. And if you finish with a better bracket than... let's see here. Who can we pick on? How about Jeremiah Jensen? You'll be entered into a drawing to win $500. It's KSL Sports Basketball Mayhem on KSLSports.com.
Who's got it better than us?
Your home for the best sports coverage in Utah. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Two niggas on the airways, talking sports. They got him Matrix and also loves his tie-dye. Ben's got style with his scarf. Oh my.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Ben, we have an update to a story we brought up earlier.
Oh, okay.
We were wondering why the Minnesota athletic director fired their basketball coach.
Okay, great.
At 2:19 a.m. Eastern. And it means that I have a new favorite athletic director.
Okay.
The reason that happened, this guy, his last name is Coyle. He's on the men's basketball selection committee, which was meeting in Indiana to go over the selection process. So he flew back after that was over to Minneapolis to then fire Johnson.
Okay.
So I love it that this dude's like, I'm going to fire you to your face.
You're done.
You are so done,
You're done,
that I'm
pal.
not going to do it over the phone.
I can't wait to do this.
I'm not going to do it through your agent. I am going to I'm going to drive straight to your house from the airport and fire you right to your face. I'm kind of joking, but I actually do think stuff like that gets done so impersonally is wrong.
You'd rather get fired to your face than over the phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least like a boss who has to make a tough decision. Like it happens, Get yourself together and go do it in person.
Sure.
I think there is something to that. I'm kind of joking. I don't think like the AD enjoyed it. Probably a little, but
I've never been a manager. If they don't put me in charge of people, I would absolutely fire everybody over text message.
That doesn't surprise me.
Christian, you don't need to come in tomorrow. We've replaced you.
You're the office where they wouldn't office space where they wouldn't fire Milton. They're just like, we just stopped paying him. We're not going to. Nobody wants to have an awkward conversation with that guy. So we're
moving him further and further away.
Yeah. No, you behave like an adult, and you do a hard thing. But maybe, just maybe, this AD
hard things are overrated. I've decided doing hard things is not for me.
Maybe this AD just hated this guy so much, he's like, listen, I'm going to be there in person.
Did he hire him? How long has this athletic director been there?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring a coffee cup so I can catch your tears.
If you hired him, you should fire him in person. If you didn't hire him, you can do it over text. You weren't my guy in the first place.
What does that have to do with anything?
What do I owe you?
What does that have to do with anything?
What do I owe you? I didn't hire you. You're somebody else's mistake.
I don't think that's how, integrity works.
Oh, integrity. Overrated.
I don't know about
loyalty and integrity. Two of the most, especially in sports.
There's no such thing as integrity in sports.
Yeah. Or loyalty.
There should be.
Why?
But there's not.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Yeah, why?
Because this is
Earth, society.
And we're humans.
Not sports. Yes. Sports aren't. Nothing. Sports don't reflect humanity in the slightest.
See, it's that perspective which is what is wrong with sports.
Want to elaborate? You wish there was more of that, and we'd have a better system.
I honestly think that people now just view sports as a TV show, and it is ruining some of the great things about sports. Yeah.
You're right. We have sucked the humanity out of it.
Yeah. Then people. I mean, you want to get to why do people think it's okay, even if they go to the game, to scream just the most inappropriate things you've ever heard at people?
Horrendous
because they
These aren't people. It's a TV show.
No, again, everything comes back to the Simpsons baseball episode. And Lisa yelling at Darryl Strawberry and Marge saying, Lisa, knock it off. And she goes, Mom, come on. These are professional athletes. This stuff just rolls right off their back. And then it focuses in on Darryl Strawberry. He's got a little tear coming out of his eye. We absolutely dehumanize all this stuff. Right down to the point where we honestly, and I don't want to hear you say we never cared about kids' education, but honestly now we absolutely do not care about that in the slightest.
Correct. And it hasn't mattered a ton in my life, but it's less than ever now.
I bet it more than you'd think in your life.
Oh, and more kids have had success because they got an education through sports than made a career out of it. Clearly that's the case.
Thousands and thousands more.
Yeah, tens of thousands. Yep. Yeah. Very few players actually make it as a professional. So,
but nobody cares.
Yes, the education that they got was invaluable.
Nobody cares anymore?
But yeah, that's done. I'm with you.
BYU now trailing. Ooh, big shot right there. But BYU down 72-67, but still plenty of time, 12 and a half to go.
It's a good game. Everyone's hitting shots, really good pace, clean execution. It's not just turnovers and fouls and sloppiness. I think the refs are doing a good job of getting out of the way in this game. So this has been a fun one.
Yeah, BYU could amp up the D a little bit. They haven't gotten a whole lot of stops all game long.
No. But again, Iowa State's been red hot. But so is BYU. So I'd have to look at the stats of how everyone's shooting. But every time I look up,
man, if BYU were to win the conference tournament, they're going to have to beat Iowa State, Houston, and then, in theory, Texas Tech. But it could be another really good team. The Big 12 conference tournament is no joke.
As we mentioned, BYU got a bad draw. The good news is if you lose, you don't have a bad loss. It's not like you're losing to Colorado or West Virginia.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
But
this won't hurt them. If BYU loses this game, it won't hurt.
Also means you have a chance to lose. Iowa State, to back up my point of shots are falling at a ridiculous rate, is shooting 66% from the floor and 58% from three, and we're 30 minutes into the game. BYU is the cold shooting team, and they're 52% from the floor and 50% from three. So, yeah, every shot is going in.
The end of this game is going to be so ugly because neither of those things could
keep up.
No.
BYU's down 3 now with 11 minutes to go. So, fun game. This is what you hoped for. This is what you wanted. I'm excited that we have high-level and relevant college basketball in the state.
Speaking of that, the Aggies will tip off tonight at 9:30 down in Vegas, taking on UNLV. Utah State actually really needs a win. I think they're in the tournament. I honestly do. And UNLV wouldn't be a horrendous loss.
But you don't want an early loss.
But they need to see a little success. They closed the season so terribly.
Yep, they did.
They need to beat a team and then, losing the semis or whatever. But they need a little...
and maybe just their mental health.
That's what I'm saying.
Just get the momentum back.
Need a little juice going into the tournament. You don't want to go into the tournament on I guess it would be 3-game losing streak.
Yeah.
And just got taken apart in 2 of those games.
UNLV, by the way, missing one of their best players, Deaton Thomas Jr., averages like 15 points a game. He's out for the remainder of the tournament.
Okay.
And Christian is not producing tonight, which is not good for Utah State.
Yeah, they've been good.
Utah State is really awesome when Christian produces the broadcast, and they've really struggled. Who is it filling in, Parker?
Yeah, Parker and Alex.
Just the coolers.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Just the coolers.
They don't have the touch.
Maybe
they're saving me for
the NCAA tournament.
I think so.
Oh, I'd buy that. Bring out the big gun for the game that matters. Make sure Christian's there.
Well, you got to
go
with what works. If the team knew that they won every time Christian produced and lost every time Parker produced, they would request Christian?
Yes.
I do. I actually do think that.
Were you producing last year when they won?
Yeah, I produced. I've been producing since 2 years ago.
So, but they won in the tournament last year.
They
were
won
producing
their tournament game. Yeah, I was producing that one. So this whole story goes back to 2 years ago. They made it all the way to the conference championship, and I had to miss that game, and they lost the conference championship to San Diego State. So then Scotty was like, oh, Christian might be our good luck charm. And then I missed their tournament game, and they lost that one as well. So since then, Scotty's been like, oh, yeah.
Might be onto something.
Well, he's not producing tonight. The Aggies are in trouble.
Yeah. Well, let the president of the school know. They have a president right now?
Yes.
Everything's in flux, right?
I think so, but I think they have. Well, they at least have an interim president. We could look that up.
Well, let them know and see if you can get some of this NIL money. You're helping the team win. What's the problem?
We're working on it.
Yeah. Okay.
NIL money for the producer of the radio broadcast.
He's helping more than anyone else on the floor.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Christian produces. The Aggies win. The Aggies should beat UNLV. I hope they do
so.
For their sake.
They should have won the last couple of games.
They should beat UNLV. I don't know about that. Playing at Boise State is not an easy game. But getting blasted at Colorado State is definitely worse. But it's not like Colorado State is Air Force. Oh, and by the way, they beat Air Force, so it wouldn't be going in losing 3 in a row.
Beat them by 40.
Yeah. Well, everybody beats Air Force by 40. One conference win. You don't see that all that often. All right, coming up next, our guy Hans, right? Scotty G's down in Vegas. Is Scotty dropping in? Hans and Scotty G are coming up next. We will talk to you tomorrow on Jake and Ben, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.